So, hello ma'am, here's my video for this lab. So, the instructions for us was to submit a video of the calculate tip and I just followed what was inside this activity guide that you sent. So, here is the output of this tip calculator. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this. Then after a while, we'll open this app and we'll run this, and I'm going to demonstrate that it is working. So I'm going to put 100, and then let's say I select OK, and then the tip amount is $15. And then once more, I'm gonna try another input, 50, and the tip amount is 8, and then I'm going to turn off the round up switch. Then the tip amount is $7.5. And once again, or that. As you can see, it's working. So I'm going to put a null input and the program won't crash. And then lastly, just one last output, I'm going to put 80 and I'm going to calculate, and the tip amount is working. So for a little bit of explanation of what I did. So in this laboratory, we focused on using the binding feature, which allows us to easily work with our layout and the views in our layout and with the code, so that we can easily work with them. So what happens here is that we put some code so that we could use the binding feature. And then after that, what happens here is we created a click listener, event listener, and then once it's clicked, it will call the calculate tip function. So this click listener will listen on the calculate button, the ID here. As you can see, the ID is the calculate button. And then after that, inside in our function, we created a variable that will store what's in this over here. It will store the value inputted by the user, and then we will have to convert it to string, since the type here is an editable text. And then once it's already a string, now we will have to convert it to null, since cost and currency usually involves using decimals. And then over here is just how we can handle null input so that the program wouldn't crash. And then next here is to get the value of what button the user chose to check for his or her tip. The value will depend on which button is clicked. And then after that, once everything is ready, we can now calculate the tip amount. So here, the tip percentage times the cost will result to the actual tip. And then we created here a variable for the switch over here if we want to round it up. And if we want to round it up, we have to round it up using the ceiling function. And then after all of that, we have to format the tip so that it will appear neat and more organized as what we can see in the real world on how currency is supposed to be displayed and formatted. So we have to format it, and then after everything, we can now put the result of the tip, and then change what is inside the tip result view. So that would be all for this laboratory.